probably imagine doing the aquascapes and really just tearing down the old tanks, moving all the fish to their new homes for the WDIY builds. It's a big undertaking, so it's not something that can be rushed. Obviously, I want to do a good job of the aquascape, but more importantly than that is I'm not willing to compromise the health of the fish, so they need to be moved over in a proper fashion. So I thought it's going to take a little while to get that done right, so let's take a look at some of the other things going on in the aquarium basement and catch up with some of the other tanks, and then hopefully the plan is to have the 2 premieres for the 750 Amazonian Islands and the 600-gallon Asian Jungle aquarium to be on consecutive Saturdays at 7 p.m. They'll both be premiere videos. So that's the plan right now. There's a lot going on. Actually, I'll show you. This is just some of the stuff going into these aquariums. This is not even the rock. This is just the substrate and the wood. I'll put that up on the screen there. And of course, I shouldn't forget, thank you for everybody, all the winners who reached out. All of your packages, I'll put that up on the screen too. They're getting ready to go out next week. And I'll email each of you individually and let you know when your package mailed out. And there's a couple of you who did the hard part. You won the giveaway, but you haven't done the easy part and you haven't emailed me. So for those people, you should check the community tab on Aquarium main page, or look at the last video, or look at the description for the giveaway video. I put the winners in all those places. So it's up to you to follow it through. All right, let's take a look at the 3000. All right, let's start off with the 3,000 gallon. So as you can see, all the cyanobacteria is gone. And obviously the only, you know what I did? I added a Pleco and he ate it all, right? No, obviously, that's not real. I have not added a Pleco yet, but what I did do is dose the aquarium with erythromycin. I always struggle with saying that. But it is a bacterial medication for fish, and it has a side effect of it kills cyanobacteria, which is a form of bacteria. So big surprise that antibacterial kills bacteria, right? But it did a great job, and we now have a 3,000 gallon that is devoid of the cyanobacteria. And I've been dosing still, and as you can see, the plants continue to take off. In fact, our Amazonian sword, he's made his natural arch, and he's on to his second sword plant, which has rooted itself. And so that's pretty cool. Plus they're spawning off babies, which I can use in other tanks, so that is always nice. It's nice to propagate plants rather than have to buy them all the time. And we also know that for the 3,000 gallon, we're going to be reconstructing the top so that along with the peacock bass and the pike and the true parrot cichlids, we can add arowana. So that is future coming. And another thing that I've been thinking about is, so this tank is 6 feet front to back, and where you see the rock and the wood there and those plants, they're still 2 feet behind that. And at the bottom, it's a built-up mound of plant baskets full of fluorite plant substrate. But I was thinking, with the arowana, I want to have some big paths for them to go all the way around. So I may actually not ever plant that further back, because I mean, to me, it's pretty good right now as far as the amount of plants for such big fish. And I can leave that open for the arowana, and I can pull those guys out, just put some sand back there, and basically just sort of allow more water flow through the back of the aquarium. So let's go take a look at the other half of the 3,000 gallon. And it's the same situation over here, where in the back there, you can see that there's a 2 feet area back there where there's not any plants. And that is the same situation where it has those plant baskets. And I could remove them and free up that space as well. So something I'm thinking about doing, mostly for the arowana, and also for the fact that there are 2 Lima shovelnose catfish in here. They generally, they're still growing up, so they're, I guess a little hesitant to always be out with the big boys, but they do, they do feed every time that I eat every time I feed the tank. So, and they are growing. So as they get bigger, that'll create more of a channel along the back for them to swim. So I think it's just something that might be better for overall for the aquarium, considering there's plenty of space and plenty of plants. So I think it might be better, because I do have 2 rungs of plants, right? There's substantial plants in the front, that's probably about 2.5 feet off the glass. Then you have another run of plants there, and then you got that another couple feet back behind it. You can see where an Amazon sword started growing all the way in the back, just on its own, I guess. But that's kind of the one nice things about having a nature aquarium, is you get things happen, right? Fish fish breed, plants propagate. It's always ever changing. So that is pretty fun, pretty cool about it. But yeah, other than that, the fish are all doing great. The pike group, they still all hang out together. I love that. I love that there's no competition between them. They, you know, all good to go. Peacock bass continue to grow like crazy. And yeah, that's pretty much it for the 3,000 gallon. So obviously the 220, all these fish are going to the 750 gallon Amazonian Islands Aquarium. So this is sort of just in standby mode. I've been ripping out some of their aquascape, using it over on the other side. So just in flux right now, but everyone's doing good, and I know they are going to love their new home. And I have a lot of plans for some groups of smaller tetra to go in between these big boys, as well as I got some plans for some more Cara once they get moved over to the new system and it has a chance to establish. We don't want to put too much pressure on the system too quickly. So real quick, over on the marine side of the house, the 150 gallon low-tech Reef, pretty much the same situation. The easy corals are still doing their thing and growing. The intermediate corals are still just kind of there, not dying, not really propagating, or, you know, not really, I would say, excelling. But I also have not had an opportunity to fully test out the par in this aquarium, other than I did do a quick test, and I have much less par than I thought I had. So maybe my thoughts that I was, well, obviously my thoughts that I was giving too much is not the case. So we'll be making those adjustments, and we'll see. Hopefully we can make the low-tech Reef actually a reef. That's the plan. And we all know the plan for the 125 gallon Asian jungle stream aquarium is simply just to move everybody over to the 600 gallon version of this aquarium. So everyone here is, again, doing great. I did have, unfortunately, one fatality. My large Denison barb jumped out of the aquarium. My helper brought it upstairs and showed me. So obviously, whenever I see the cat walk up with a fish in its mouth, that's not good. But unfortunately, that fish was always easily spooked. I know a lot of times I'd walk by here and I'd hear him jump up and hit the underside of the lid. And unfortunately, the lids are covering most of the aquarium, but not all of it. So this is obviously a problem that won't happen in the 600 gallon. It's fully covered, and between the top of the aquarium and the lids on the 600 gallon is many inches. So that's definitely something a problem that'll go away. It's just really unfortunate that my oldest, my largest Denison barb, who goes back, well, many years, because he was moved over to this aquarium. This was not his first home. So yeah, a little frustrating there, but as far as everybody else, everybody's good, and really just kind of waiting to get moved over to their new home. Okay, Predator Bay. What's happening in Predator Bay? Always fun stuff happening in Predator Bay. So I would say the major themes are that the bamboo sharks are growing, growing, and that the coral cat shark is always out and about nowadays, hanging out with his friends, the bamboo sharks. So we can see that that used to be the little one, the little bamboo, and it's gotten bigger. Well, actually, so there's a little bamboo, and there's our larger bamboo, who's still, the little one's catching up, but I think they're still both just growing at a pretty good rate. And then, of course, coral cat shark. So while we're here, you know, should probably just throw in some food, you know, for the fish. They're always looking to eat. And of course, the groupers got to get theirs first. We'll try some tong feeding tonight, but of course we always have to throw in a few smaller pieces for the groupers, because you're not going to get any, you're not going to be able to feed anybody until those guys get theirs. So so now we can go ahead and grab some pieces of fish, and we can feed the rays and the sharks. They'll definitely come up and eat straight from the tongs. They're very polite feeders. Whoops. I dropped that one, but fortunately, the sharks are going to help me out and clean up my mess. Let's try that again. All right, let's see if the eel is interested in a fish. Well, it seemed like it at first. There we go. And back into the hole he goes. Okay, who's next? Let's see. Well, we got a bit of a shark and ray frenzy over here in the corner, but I think they should start to smell the food is actually over here, and there's the large bamboo. Of course, he's going back to the corner. Here's the coral cat. Let's see if possibly. No, he's not. No takers yet. Obviously, you know, they go by smell, so he's already had his. So There we go. We'll let the Ray have his. I'd like to get the coral cat his food. He's getting close. I think he's slowly figuring out that there's a nice juicy fish just on the other side of that rock. We'll see if he turns around and we can get it to him. We're gonna have to hide it from the Ray, because you can have another piece, but let's get everybody fed first, and then we'll get you. He's not listening. Come on, let everyone have some, and then you can clean up the rest of the plate. Okay, the coral cat shark was convinced that it was in the rock over there, so we had to get the hard way to it, but he did finally get his meal. All right, let's give the Ray another one. He definitely seems like he's hungry for one, so there you go. And I think last but least, we owe the bamboo sharks some fish. There we go. All set. All right, so obviously a lot of times I do broadcast feeding to the aquarium, especially with the shrimp and the other types of foods, but it's also fun to bring the tongs out and do the hand feeding to everybody. Obviously, everybody really content. Like I said, the main story here is that the bamboo sharks continue to get huge, especially the big one there, and the coral cat is fully, just all good to go. A big part of the tank, always out and about. The early scare of him basically staying in the cave for the first few weeks, we've been past that for a while. So yeah, Predator Bay is just on cruise control, and we're just watching these guys grow up. And we'll try to gauge that as these guys get bigger, how much room do we have in here? Can we house any other species comfortably? I've been keeping track of the water parameters and the filtration system, so just seeing how the tank matures up. In March of this year, it'll be a year for this tank, or it'll be March. No, I think I started building in March, but I'll find out. At the year point, it'll be a good time to sort of gauge, how well the whole system is doing. And so far, it's doing great. But we do need to keep in mind that none of these guys are full grown yet, so we want to make sure that we make the system so that we can accommodate them at their adult size. And of course, last but not least, the 600-gallon reef slope, and the 1,500-gallon system. So we'll take a look at the reef slope first, and then we'll take a look at the Refugium. So in the reef slope, fish-wise, everybody's great. I still haven't had an opportunity to really do anything with trying to add any corals. The one coral we have is doing fine, and all the fish are doing great. And as you can see, we're kind of on phase 2 of the base rock we added, where it's not that bright white anymore. It's got that first kind of greenish yellow coralline and a little purple spot starting to come out everywhere, and it won't be long before it is basically blended straight into the reef like everything else. Definitely won't be any time at all. And really just enjoying the heck out of this tank. Like, I love I don't like to have to maintain, I don't like having to put corals and stuff in a 4-foot tall tank, but it is definitely a lot of fun to view, so I enjoy that part of it. So we'll see. Definitely it'll be very easy coral, so I'll try to make life easy for myself so I don't have to do too much work with the tongs down at the bottom. So, obviously a lot of softies and that kind of stuff. But we got a lot of room for those things to grow up, so it should look pretty impressive. And as time goes by, I'm thinking, there's a lot of fish in here that get quite big, so I still want to add a few more of the smaller in-between fish, take advantage of all that reef work for their home. So yeah, definitely a lot of things coming for the 600, but yeah, it's maturing along just as I'd hoped. So everybody is good. We have young angels growing up, young tangs, our mischievous liner biting trigger, all kinds of interesting stuff in here. So yeah, just really just enjoying this tank right now. So the Refugium for the 1,500-gallon system, it's doing fine. Actually, the timers have gone out on that, so I can't really show it. But really, all that's happening there is I ordered another 100 pounds of BRS base rock, dead rock, that I'm going to put in there and start cultivating it, as well as ordering another additional set of cleaners, detritus cleanup crew. And I'll be adding in there. As far as the 265 in wall behind me, cruise control, so much work going into the double DIY builds. It's massive undertaking, so as you can imagine, most of the other tanks are on cruise control while I spend most of the effort on that and redoing the tops on the 3,000 gallon. So everything good here, just maturing, moving along, no problems really. So that's all you can ask for.
And lastly, I'll leave you a look at the wood and the substrate going into the 600 gallon and the 750. As you can imagine, it is a lot of stuff. And the rocks, I have a whole pile of those rocks outside. Huge, as much as you see here, I have in rocks outside. So it is a crazy amount of stuff going in here. So as you can imagine, this is taking a lot of my time.
Okay, thanks for watching. You slackers who haven't contacted me, who won the giveaway, contact me. The last couple of you. The rest of you who did win, prizes, your packages are going out very soon. Email you when that happens. Keep an eye out for the consecutive Saturday premieres for the double DIY builds. And I haven't forgotten, we have a par video coming up. We have a lot of videos coming up. So I'll see what I can get done, and yeah, we'll get to it.